Hi everyone, it's Ashar here and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to discuss all the necessary things that you must be aware of if you're traveling to Canada in these COVID times. I'm also going to discuss all the things that you can do to capitalize your time in quarantine once you arrive here. My good friend who recently came to Canada had an entire conversation with me and he explained me that what exactly happened through the entire journey from booking the tickets and coming and landing here in Canada to what he did in the quarantine. Now I summarized all those points and I'll be going through them one by one very quickly. But for any of you who wants to hear the entire conversation, you can jump straight away to the timestamp which I'll be showing right now on the screen. Alright, so jumping on to the summary. The first step is to book your quarantine stay. Now, it has to be an isolated place with a separate kitchen and washroom. You cannot share these places or these areas with anybody else. Now, if you're booking it, have a booking receipt or a booking confirmation with you because the immigration officer might ask you for that. Now, the next step is to book your air tickets. Now, you can do it yourself or you can ask a travel agent to do it for you. Now, I'm going to put a link to Air India's booking site in the description below for your reference. Next is when you arrive at the airport. Now you can expect long queues outside the airport where people are trying to get inside. You will have to wait in line, and while you are waiting in line, you will be asked to fill declaration forms. Now these declaration forms you can either get it online or you can get it from the airport staff who will be present near the entrance gate. If you are traveling with kids and elderly, you will be given preference and you will not be asked to stay in line. You can go inside without being in the line. The security officer at the gate is going to check your temperature, check your identity, and take one of the declaration forms that you would have filled. Once you get inside the airport, you're going to see further long queues. Now, one of the queue is for permanent residents and citizens. The other queue would be for people with temporary visa. Now, temporary visa is like study permit or the work permit. If you're traveling on a study permit or a work permit, you need to have proper documents with you. My friend, he was rejected the first time that he applied. His documents were not proper and there was some information which was missing, and then he had to call his university to get the information all sorted out. So he actually missed his first flight and then he had to rebook another flight and then had to travel through that. So if you want to know what are the changes that he did, I'll put a timestamp over here in the video right now and you can jump to the conversation where he explains that what he did. You'll have to wear a mask and a face shield through most of your journey. Also carry some food items with you because there are chances that you might not get anything on the aircraft. Before reaching Canada in the flight itself, you'll be handed some custom declaration and self-quarantine forms. Now, the immigration process at the Canadian airport is going to be pretty straightforward, and just after that, there will be a basket and a person standing right next to it. This basket is where you're supposed to drop your quarantine forms. If you're coming to Canada for the very first time, then it's advisable that you take a SIM card from airport itself. There will be some telecom operator booths available at the airport. Just make sure that your handset is compatible with the SIM card that you're opting for. From airport itself, you can book yourself an Uber to the place of quarantine that you're supposed to go and stay for 14 days. Now, while in quarantine, you can utilize this time and apply for your GIC, your social insurance number, and any other administrative work that you have to do. So by the time 14 days end, you will already have your ATM card, your SIN ready, and if there is some job that you have to immediately join, or if there is something else that you have to do, you can start doing that without wasting any time. Well, that was the gist of the video. I'm going to put the conversation which I had with my friend after this. And in the meanwhile, if you did enjoy it, please click on the like button. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And please consider subscribing if you wish to see more of such short, informative videos in future. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Hi Adan, thank you for taking the time and coming to talk to us. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How about you?
Not bad, not bad. So I have a couple of questions in front of me that I want to go through. So what is your current status here in Canada?
Currently, I am on study permit. I came here as a student to Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I landed here, and and just finished my quarantine today.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you.
So how did you book your tickets and how much did it cost you?
I booked my tickets through Air India, Vande Bharat mission. Actually, I had booked 2 times basically. Mm-hmm. So the first day which I was supposed to be taking off on, I was not able to, and I had missed my flight. So that ticket I had booked through Air India, through Vande Bharat. The second time I booked my ticket through a travel agent. So he made my arrangements from Bombay to London, and London to Toronto.
And how much did that cost?
That cost me around 1 lakh.
The first time when you went to Delhi airport, what happened there?
I saw there was like a very huge crowd at the international terminal. And within that crowd, there was a line for the passengers to go inside the airport. And in that line, people were given this self-declaration forms, like whoever is traveling. So we needed to fill these forms up, get our hand luggages checked, like not checked in, X-rayed, scanned, and then we enter the airport. So we had to show our ticket and the identification to the CRPF over there.
How much time did it take you, the entire process of standing in line, showing the form, filling the form, and finally getting inside the door?
I think it will take like a half an hour to 45 minutes just to get inside the airport. Once I'm inside the airport, then there is another line inside, and there will be Air India staffs over there. They'll be asking like what kind of visa you're traveling on, and people with the PR and citizenship, they'll be told to go directly to the check-in, and people with the work permit or people with a student visa, they were told to go to the counter where the Air India staffs are sitting there and checking the documents. What happened was, first of all, the line was quite big, and for each and every person, they were taking 5 to 10 minutes for that person to go in, for the next person to come in. So what happened for me was, they said at the Air India counter, they said my travel is non-essential. I had this document from the university saying they want this student to come in and start his education in Canada, but they told this letter doesn't convince. It's not convincing enough. And they asked me to show any other documents which might help. So since since it was very early in the morning in Canada over here, so I was trying to get in touch with my university, and since all the universities due to COVID it's closed, so there was an issue with getting in touch with them. And finally, when I got in touch and I was trying to, talk to the Air India staff, and by the time I received my document, the revised document, the counter was closed, and they said they cannot help anything. The flight is, it's already the boarding started, and people are, is going to take off, and you cannot go now. The counter is closed because it's less than 45 minutes.
What additional information was there in the revised document which made everything easy?
In the previous document, we were just saying for my this last semester I need to be there. But for the revised one, they said the semester is starting on this particular date, and this person has to travel. It was mentioned like that.
So you mentioned the ticket from Bombay. It had a layover in London.
Yeah, it had a layover in London. Yes.
What happened during that layover? Were there any more checks, or you were allowed to board the flight for Canada without any hassle?
From Bombay, I didn't face much issues, and in Bombay, if anybody is traveling from region from Bombay, Gujarat, this kind of areas, I will tell them it's better to travel through Bombay, because there aren't many flights going out from Bombay for international passengers. So there's not much rush. There's no many people there, and everyone is following social distancing, and everything is followed quite nicely, better than what I saw in Delhi. And all the procedure was smooth. Immigration was empty. Everything was for me, I reached the gate within maybe 1 hour maximum. So with my mistake from Delhi, I reached Bombay airport maybe 6 hours before, and they told me to enter the airport maybe 4 hours before the flight. And once I entered, it was smooth. So it just took me 1 hour to reach the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, waiting there to board my flight. That's the case in Bombay. When it comes to London, there was I had the layover was only for 3 hours, so it was quite it's quite a long walk from the once you exit the aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a long walk in London, so you have to be really you have to consider that. And once you reach the security, after security, there's like a small like an immigration. There is a small counters, but it's once they see you, they'll just say, like, if you have a boarding pass, they say just scan the boarding pass and you can pass through.
Mm-hmm.
So other than security, there was So another thing what happened with London layover was I was asked to check in with the Air Canada flight.
Okay.
So they can verify my documents, same procedure which was followed in India. Also, the flight from London to Toronto, like the whole flight was literally empty. So like the whole seating row in my row, it was empty. The back side was empty. The front, hardly, maybe I think 50 passengers were there and 300 seating capacity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the service in Air Canada is very nice. It's like they're not giving you hot meals, but they're giving you like previously how the flights were.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming. Their hostess is coming, and you're requesting something. They are giving you meals. They're giving you water whenever you're asking, and all those things.
Okay.
This is not done in Air India. At the Canada airport, everything was I came and I reached the immigration. The immigration, they just asked me like any declaration. They gave me a few forms at the airport, at the airline, when I was inside the plane. So they gave me 3 forms. One was the customs form, and one was the home quarantine, the quarantine form, like where I'll be quarantining myself. These 2 forms they gave me.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I reached the immigration at Toronto, they just asked me my passport, and they asked me my this declaration form for the customs. The immigration stamped that, and then I went to through the immigration, and there was a officer sitting with a big basket, and he told to put your quarantine plan in this basket. And after that, I went to CBSA, like in the queue for the CBSA.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not that big and not that small. It was just like it took me around 10 minutes in that queue.
Mm-hmm.
And at the counters, he just asked me my offer letter from the university, the payment receipt which I paid, for the tuition fees.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me, like, one extra document was like my IELTS score, and I showed him my IELTS score too. I had it with my hand, and that's it. And he gave me my study permit, and he said, like, okay, you can go. Then I just went out, took my luggage, and I'm outside. This whole process took me like half an hour, maximum 45 minutes, I would say. Well, during my quarantine, I got 2 things. I did the 3 works basically. First was to get me a SIM card, local SIM card, so I can be in touch with the people much better. And this one, what I did was I got a SIM card at the airport. There's a chatter counter in the airport itself, before you exit. And I took my SIM card from there. I had before I came here, my friend he had informed me in Canada, over here in Canada, there are some cell phones doesn't match the frequency of the SIM cards. Like like for example, like if I'm using my phone and there are some frequencies the phone is having, but this frequencies is not matching the frequency of the network which works over here. Secondly, what I did was I applied for my SIN number.
Yeah.
This SIN number I had gone online and I put in details which whatever they asked. It's very simple and it's very nice. And I got this. And before getting the SIN number, I applied for activation of my GIC account. People who are coming here to Canada from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, I think they mostly come under SDS program. So this SDS program is having the GIC account. So I activated my GIC. This GIC provided me with my Canadian address. So they gave me a bank statement, which the bank statement is consisting my Canadian address. So with that bank statement, I gave this as a proof of address in my SIN number application, and I just applied for everything, and during my quarantine itself, my SIN, my bank debit card, and everything had come in.
Okay, so that was it. Thank you so much, Adnan, for talking and giving the valuable input. Really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for asking me this.
Yeah, I hope this helps people who are trying to come to Canada.
I hope so too. It will be very helpful for them, I guess. I hope so.
Definitely.